All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be re-exploring Blurple Croc. That's right, guys. I did a video on this guy about 3 weeks ago at the time of me recording this. And this was one of those leaders where after I kind of messed around with it, I thought, man, you know, that deck didn't feel too bad, like to pilot. Like, that was a pretty good deck. It was much better than I thought it would be, right? It was one of those type of situations. And yes, that probably has a lot to do with the 7 Warlords package being as strong as it is going into OP0 8.5, which we're about to go into now in the West. So, yeah, today we're going to be revisiting that. Now, in the last time I played this leader, like I said, about 3 weeks ago, I think I was doing a mix of 7 Warlords plus Straw Hats. In today's video, I think it's going to be much more focused on the 7 Warlords, but we'll see when we get to it. Okay, let me go ahead and lay out the video for you guys so you know what you're getting into. First things first, we're going to head over to the lab, and we have a game of ST14 Luffy versus Lucci. It almost mixed around in my head there, Luffy and Lucci. But yeah, we've got ST14 Luffy versus Lucci. That should be a very educational game there for any of the newer players. Very interesting game. Okay, after that, we're actually going to do a little bit of a rant. Okay, I did have it. I literally have it in my notes here. Don't forget to rant about ST15 through 20, number 1 being released, and number 2, the availability of it. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to try not to complain or anything, but I do want to draw attention to something that I foresee as being a potential issue, right? Okay, we're going to talk about that for a little bit. Then we're going to head over to the sim and check out 3 games of me playing Blurple Croc on the sim. That should be a lot of fun. After that, we're going to check out the deck list that I'm using, and we'll wrap it up in that way. Okay, guys? So you know what we're getting into. I will have everything time-stamped down in the general description, and I will have all relevant deck lists and links down in the comments section below. Okay, guys? All right, let's do this. Let's get into it. You know what we're getting into. Let's do this. First things first, let's move this leader here. We've got a game of the lab, or we got a game on the lab. For any of the new players, what is the VV Lab? So for any of the new players out there, this portion of my videos, I always try to have this at the beginning of each one of my videos. This is dedicated to helping out some of the newer players, or even just like maybe even average players who are trying to take their game to the next level. What ends up happening is they submit their games. This is not me playing. What we're about to watch here is not me playing the game. It is something that the community submitted to me, and I'm going to review it for them. It kind of acts as like free coaching, to be honest. So real quick, if you are interested in me reviewing one of your games, it's completely free. It's a first-come, first-served type of basis, so whenever you submit it, you have to wait your turn in line. But it's totally free. And I mean, honestly, guys, there's only like 6 or 7 people ahead of this one. So it just, you know, basically, I think if you submit a video for me to review, it ends up coming out about a week or a week and a half later. And we'll see, you know, as if things get busier, then that could change. But currently, that's the way it looks. So real quick, if you are interested, it's very easy. All you have to do is record one of your games that you want me to review. Then after you do that, upload it to YouTube. After you upload it to YouTube, hop on the VV Theory Discord. Okay, the Discord link is in the channel description. Hop on the VV Theory Discord. Okay, and then in the Review My Games channel, I have a channel called Review My Game. You post the link in there to the YouTube video. I put a thumbs up next to it as soon as I see it, and then you get thrown in line. And then when it's your turn, it's your turn. Okay? Easy enough. If you have any questions on that, please do not hesitate to ask down in the comment section below. But just understand, everything I just said is free. Like the recording program people use is free. It's called OBS. To upload on YouTube is obviously free, right, guys? And then, of course, last but not least, I record it, or I review it for free, okay? And, of course, there's 100% anonymity. Like, you know, you don't have to worry about your name being anywhere. You don't have to worry about people knowing who you are or being embarrassed or something like that. It's nothing like that, guys. It's just meant to help people out who are asking for help. Okay, now, let's go ahead and dive into this game. That was a very long-winded introduction there, but here we go. We have a game here of ST14 Luffy versus Lucci, okay? Volume is off. The speed is on normal. Let's get it to 2x, and the quality is as high as it will go. And here we go, guys. Okay, and it looks like the Luffy player did win the dice roll, and they chose to go first. Okay, so one thing I will say is it is nice going first if you get the stage right on turn 1, because then right on turn 3, skip a turn to turn 3, you get to immediately go into your Sanji play to pop pretty much anything they played the turn prior. So going to play out the Queen Search. Okay, this is very interesting. It looks like, I'm going to pause for a second. It looks like they're running quite a bit of Animal Kingdom Pirates in this deck, and I'm not super familiar with everything that ST14 Luffy is running, but from what I've been told and from what I understand, this is a pretty standard list. You guys help me out in the comment section below if I'm off. I have not seen a lot of ST14 Luffy, and it's not a deck that I've spent a lot of time playing. So I do think this is a normal package where it's just running a very strong tempo, curve out, KO version of the deck where it's like, okay, I'll pop a card with my 5 Dawn play, and then my 7 Dawn play, I'll pop another card with Jack potentially, and it just kind of curves out from there. In some lists, some decks, I think, are running the 9-cost Kaido. Okay, but we'll have to see. I'm not sure what this person's running. So here we go. So we've played out the Queen, and now, remember, the ST14 Luffy went first, so we've already gotten to swing in for 6. Now it's the Lucci's turn to go. This is their second turn. We just got done with the Luffy's first turn. Now the Lucci's on, or excuse me, we just got done with the Luffy's second turn, and now we're on the Lucci's second turn. How confusing is that, guys? Luffy and Lucci. Okay, bear with me. Okay. Swinging in for 6. I like 2K countering out. You don't want to go too low too early. We knew they were going to pop that Queen, and that Queen just didn't matter anyway, right? It was just a searcher. It did its job. And here we go. So swinging in for 5, they take it. So the Lucci, we do have to talk about it. The top player here running Rob Lucci, they are favoring a very big hand size. And I know that can seem kind of, what's the word, kind of greedy in this situation. But I don't think there's enough room in ST14 Luffy to run Isho. I mean, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Like I said, I'm not 100% aware of the list. But I don't like taking this much life early on from the easy 5K and 6K attacks, because as this game goes on, you start having to deal with the 6K minimum into 7K, 8K, 9K attacks, and that's where things get really ugly. So, okay, playing out the Sanji on curve is absolutely feels incredible, right? We only got rid of a Brook, but still it's better than nothing, and now we have a 5-cost 6K. Oh, wait a minute. It's a 6-cost 6K, so he's that much harder to remove. Now, for the newer players out there, ST14 Luffy is doing very well in the West right now when it did not do very well in the East when they were in the same meta. Why? Just to give a little bit of lore, a little bit of background on this, the history on it. Back when the East was in OP08, remember guys, again, this is for the newer players, the East is an entire set ahead of us, unfortunately. So we're in OP08, they're in OP09. So back when the East was in OP08 and we were still in OP07, remember guys, Red Purple Law was not banned yet. So the meta became almost exclusively Red Purple Law and Black Lucci, okay? That was pretty much the entire format. And that's what warranted the bans that happened, a little bit after, what happened later with Red Purple Law being banned and then Lucci's stage getting banned. That was all because of how powerful those decks were in the East during OP08. But now that Red Purple Law is gone for us in the West in OP08, we have somewhat of a different meta than they had in the East. And that is where ST14 Luffy popped up, because Lucci was still a very powerful deck. But guess what? Luffy, it's so confusing saying Lucci and Luffy, but the ST14 Luffy deck counters it a little bit, not completely. It doesn't like hard counter or anything. Some might argue that it does, but it kind of counters it a little bit because it increases the cost of your characters. So now it becomes harder and harder for Lucci to deal with like a 5 or a 6 or a 7 cost character, because that's kind of just the average stat line in the deck at this point, and there's no more stage to help them out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and hop back into this game. I needed to get that out of the way because I've had people ask me, why did ST14 Luffy pop off in the West and not the East? And that's because of the change in meta and with the bannings. Okay, so here we go. So now Lucci has to try to take out a 6-cost character, and then next turn it's going to be a 12-cost character, right? Or potentially 11 or 12 or whatever ends up happening. I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe it's an 11 cost, because I think the stage only gives +1 cost to Straw Hats. So they swing in for 6, and we're 2K countering out. We're still at 5 life, and I like that, because I think, okay, notice what just happened there. So this is what I'm talking about. They just used an Ice Age on our Sanji, and notice what's coming, guys. We're going to have a Jack into a Gecko Moria, and we're going to have very high value, but having to use an Ice Age, which is a very strong cost reducer, on a 5-cost card, feels absolutely terrible. You do it when you have to, of course, but that feels horrible to do. And I'm not saying that's a misplay, but I think I personally would have saved it for something like a Gecko Moria and just tried to deal with the Sanji on the board. However, who knows what's in our opponent's hand? Why are they not countering out? Okay, they countered out of the 5k attack. Very good. Yeah, they countered out with the Spam Dam. And you have to start wondering, like, why are they not countering out of these cards here? Like, why aren't they countering? Because they're going too low in life, and black doesn't have a way to gain life currently. Who knows if it will in the future? I have no idea. Okay, gonna play out the Jack and going to rest it to use the effect, not KOing the Rob Lucci because it's a 4 cost and we have no way to reduce the cost. Turning the Jack sideways is kind of scary to me. And I'm going to be honest, I mean, I guess I do have perfect hand knowledge, you know, of the ST14 Luffy player. I would be swinging so much into this Jack right here. They go ahead and play out a Sabo. I would have probably swung for 10 or 12 into the Jack. Okay, 1k to counter out. We'll take it, and then we finally take our first life from the leader here. We're going to be able to have a very strong Gecko Moria play here. Yeah, I would swing 6. I would have swung 6 first. Hear me out real quick. So pause. I'm not saying that was a play mistake. Where's the they got to bust out the chest accuracy meter. That was not a play mistake, but I think it was not as optimal as another potential play would have been there. So we're already winning in life. If we get rid of the Lucci, we're easily winning on board once we play out this 8 cost Gecko Moria. So what I think we should have done there is swing 7 into the Rob Lucci first, and then if they use a 2k counter, okay, that's perfect. That's what we want, right? We want them to take cards out of their hand, and then we can keep munching up this board and progressing into the late game, because we're about to drop a Gecko Moria with a very strong tempo behind it, and this card Jack on the board that they just have no answer for currently. So that is the one thing I would have done differently. I would have swung for 7. Because remember, your leader goes up plus 1,000, right? So the leader swings for 7 right now, and the Jack swings for 8. So I would have swung for 7,000 into the 6k body. Hope they give me a 2k counter. Then I can swing 8 into it and take it that way. Because, for those who do not know, for any of the newer players, why does the Luffy have plus 1,000 power? That is the leader's effect. It says Dawn times 1. While you control a character that costs 8 or more in play, he gets plus 1,000 power, period. That's not just like on your turn. That is also on your opponent's turn. Okay, now let me move the chess meter and let's get back to it. And of course, guys, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, perfect. That was like a value Gecko Moria where it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to draw a card from the Queen. I'm going to snag a counter out of my trash with the Rebecca and play out a Queen from hand. This is looking really good for our ST14 Luffy player. I do not pre-watch these guys. I know I mention that all the time, but I always want to stress that for the newer players. I have no idea who wins. I have no idea who these players even are. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what happens. So, okay, they're just... Lucci's in desperation mode. I would have swung at the board. I wouldn't even swing at face right now. There's no way, because they can just counter out, right? Number one, they can counter out, or they can block out. They chose to block out to clear up a space on the board. I agree with that decision. They have 9 Dawn left. Maybe play Stussy? Playing Stussy here would be absolutely horrible because you'll lose your blocker. I would have actually gone for some bodies on the board. Oh well, I know they're just 1 cost 2Ks. It is what it is. And I really need to see what's in the hand of the Lucci player. Are they running Kaido? I have seen some decks run Kaido. Okay, so Helmeppo dropping the cost of the Gecko Moria by 3. And then playing out a Tempest Kick to drop it by 6. But guess what? He was already +1 because of our leader's effect. Okay, but they do pop it with a Who's Who. Not the worst turn. Not the worst turn for the Lucci player. Not terrible. However, it's going to be a long uphill battle from here because of all that. Like, they just don't quite have the board to survive at this point. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, because I think we're probably... Yeah, it looks like we're eyeing the Sasaki. Playing out the Sasaki here is going to allow us to drop the cost of one of these characters by 2. Okay, I like that. Swing for 6 first, beautiful, because then we could have baited out the blocker and tried to attack into the blocker. Okay, I would just swing for 8. Okay, swing for 5 first, again, trying to bait out the blocker. I love that. And now I would swing for 8 with the leader. Well, hang on. Okay, we're going to swing first. Interesting. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So we're just swinging all out. Okay, interesting. That was really weird that they gave up the blocker. That was really strange, and then they tap out. So that was really odd. They gave up the blocker when they still had 1 life left, and they were in desperation mode like that. Because theoretically, like if I'm playing as the Lucci now, like the top player, I would have gone for the board here. Again, I would have started going for the board last time. I'd have just been going into all these little characters on the board, and then just try to do things from there. And then what you could do is a Gecko Moria on your turn, the Lucci's turn, and go about things that way, because he did survive. He didn't get KO'd, did he? Like he didn't actually lose the game from combat, right? Okay, so swing for 9. Yeah, they counter out and everything. So they left because they miscountered. I think that's what it was. They tried to counter out for 8 when it was for 9. So what I would have done here, just real quick, so they're about to swing for 9 with Jack. I would take this hit. I would take the hit from Jack, and then I go down to 0 life, and then I would counter out of this attack. And look, they'd actually have enough to get out of the 9, because look, they draw a card for the turn. It was Rebecca, or not for the turn. They draw a card from the last life, and it was Rebecca. So they could have gotten out of that, and then in this turn right here, they could have went for the board, try to clear it out in that way, play out the Gecko Moria, establish a blocker. I'm not saying they would have won. I'm just saying that would have been their best chance. But either way, that was a really good game, and that's this kind of, how do I say it? ST14 Luffy is actually very strong into Lucci because it increases the cost of all the characters. Even right now, even the 1-cost characters on the board right now, like what would normally take just a Brook to pop a Queen, they'd have to attack with their leader and then drop the Brook to KO a Queen. So it does a lot to the board state, and that's just with a 1-cost character. You imagine how hard it is to deal with an 8-cost, a 9-cost character. When you're plussing them like that, it just becomes very hard to deal with. Really good game. That was an awesome, very educational game there. Great submission. Okay, give me 1 second to get set up, guys. Gonna move my face over. And we're gonna head over to tcgplayer.com, and we're gonna be checking out some stuff. We're gonna do a little bit of talking. A little bit of a rant session, miniature rant session, okay? Bear with me. Nothing bad. I'm not gonna be like whining or complaining. But something does have to be said at this point. I think something does have to be said at this point. ST 15 through 20 was just released in the West today. I go searching around Targets and local gaming stores. I don't go to Walmart very often. There is one very close to me, but like they don't ever have One Piece. I've never seen them have One Piece. Maybe they just have it and it's gone instantly, but I don't even check there anymore. But I checked 2 major Targets, a Barnes & Noble, and then a local gaming store, a Coliseum of Comics nearby where I live. And guys, everything sold out everywhere on the day of. And in fact, the way that it works apparently is they have distributors. Like I called a manager at Target. I hate to be that guy, right? But I was like, hey, can I speak to a manager? And the people, I don't think they get that question very often at Target. And they were like, oh, yeah, 1 second. And they were very nice, very polite people and everything. But it was just like, sure. I come in there, I've got my aviators on. That's just how I look. I'm in Florida. It's bright and sunny. I come in with aviators. I have to take those off. And it's just like, hey, can I speak to the manager real quick? So the manager comes over, and I'm like, hey, do you guys have any One Piece product, like, at all? Like, we were over at the card section. Like, I said, hey, I'll be over in the card section if you can call them over there, because it was right by the front where the counter was. And the person comes over, really nice manager. There's nothing, I'm not saying anything bad about Target. And I was like, so what's going on with this wall? Where's the One Piece stuff? I see Lorcana. I see Magic the Gathering. I see Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Fusion, everything. I see every card game except One Piece. And they're like, well, to be honest, we don't deal with this wall. We have a vendor come in, and they basically, I guess they register the product through their system and then throw it on the wall for them. I don't think Target has any responsibility with it, which is fine. Again, I wasn't mad at this person. It was a very cordial conversation, very, very polite, well-mannered on both ends. And I'm just like, it stinks. I wish I knew the vendor. And that's so. Moral of the story is I'm going to try to meet the vendor for where I live. But I'm telling you guys right now that it is so hard to find One Piece right now. And that kind of concerns me a little bit. Now, again, we're not complaining. This is not, it's a little bit of a rant, but I just want to bring this to everybody's attention. Think about it like this. We are entering year 2 of this game. Okay, we're in year 2 technically if you think about it, right? Because a set comes out every 3 months. So every 4 sets is 1 year. We're on set 8. So 1 through 4 was the first block or the first year. And there is a block number at the bottom right of every card, guys. At the very bottom right of every single card, there is a devil fruit, and it has a block number in it for the first year. And then 5, so that's for sets 1 through 4 and any promos that came out during that time. And then 5 through 8 has the little 2 in the devil fruit, because that is set 2, or not set 2, excuse me. That is block 2, or the second year. Well, we're going into the third year, technically, right, of the game. And we're still struggling with supply issues, which I guess that's not the worst thing to have a problem with, right? In other words, the game is so popular that it is just selling off the shelves everywhere. And I'm sure some people, I am aware, guys, there are some people out there who are like, dude, I just went down to Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, if that's even still around, or wherever, Target, and I just picked them up off the shelf, like in areas that don't have a really big TCG scene or maybe a big One Piece scene. And that's awesome. Good for you. Good for those people. I'm jealous, but at the same time, I'm not like bitter or envious or anything. That's awesome. However, in some of the more busier cities, some of the more TCG, like, I don't know how to say it, like places that are really, really popping in the TCG area, this stuff just flies off the shelf. Because the area that I live in, it's about, so there's about 1 million people that live where I live, like, you know, in the city that I live in. And, excuse me, stuff like this just sells out so quickly, it's almost frustrating. It's like I can go to a Wawa gas station, okay? I don't know where you live, but there's a gas station down the street from me called Wawa. And I think those are across the country, right? And I can go down to that gas station, and I can buy Pokemon packs off the, like, right where the register is. There's like the new Scarlet, or I don't keep up with Pokemon. It was some type of Scarlet edition. And I'm like, okay, wait, I can buy this off the packs here. But if I go to a local gaming store that is specialized, you know, they talk to the vendors, like, you know, I'm assuming they talk to the vendors in person and like try to work out deals where they get a ton of product. I can go there and everything is sold out, or they didn't even get any. What is going on, guys? Like, that's just something I really want to hear what you guys think about that. Again, do not misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to whine and complain. This is not one of those messages. But I do want to draw attention to this because I'm concerned for the future of the game. Not in a way like I don't think the game's going to die anytime soon. It's not like that. But think about it. One of the best ways to get new players into the game is they walk into a store and they see the packs we see on the screen here. Like, oh, man, look, there's Edward Newgate, right? There's Whitebeard. And, like, oh, there's Luffy. You know, there's all these cool characters. Doflamingo is really popular as well, right? And Katakuri, I'm sure all of these are, but you guys get the point. There's all these really popular characters. Excuse me, all these really popular characters. But their kids aren't going to see them. The new players aren't going to see them because the veteran players, like me and you, the people listening to this, right? Everybody listening to me right now, the more experienced players or even the starter players who are getting really serious about it, we're eyeing these products and trying to snatch them off the shelves as soon as we can so that we can have our play set of them. And I love that. That's good, okay? I love seeing that the game's that popular, right? Where it's just, you know, that's a good problem to have, like I said. But hopefully Bandai gets this, right? Hopefully Bandai gets this, you know, if someone wants to clip this and send it to Bandai, by all means. I really hope that they see this, or at least they hear it from other people and know right away, like, wait a minute, you know, hopefully some people think I have a point here. It's like, how are we supposed to keep the game growing if we can't keep the product on the shelf? We don't even have enough stuff right now for the current players in the game. And that's why at first, remember, this game was getting very expensive as it was starting to really grow really quickly. But now the price has gone down. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing on a lot of these cards. Some cards are going up, I understand, but hey, guys, who remembers how expensive Katakuri used to be? Things are starting to look better, okay? And Bandai has shown competence in this area of, like, okay, they're reprinting cards that were way too expensive. I'm not saying they're perfect, but it looks like they're making the right steps. I'm going to wrap up this rant here, guys. I know I'm just kind of blabbering at this point. I just want to say this. I was kind of annoyed. It's like, man, I go to all these places around town. One Piece is so hot right now. It is selling off the shelves everywhere. Again, I love to hear that. I love to see that. But can we, Bandai, if you're listening, like I said, I hope they get to see this and they receive it in the right way. Like, I'm not trying to be aggressive or you know, antagonistic or mean or anything. Please just print more of your product. People want to buy it, you know, like, people want to give you their money. Like, hey, here's my money. Just give me the product, you know, just please print more of the product. So, okay. I understand there's all kind of logistics in that. How many cards can they actually print at a time? And guys, if you're asking yourself that question, they're printing about 6 games at a time right now, right? What is it, like Battle Spirit Saga, One Piece, of course, Dragon Ball, Digimon, I don't know the rest of it. Okay, I think there's a few more. The point is they're printing it, and they're about to start up Gundam. Gundam's another game coming out, but they can't keep the shelves full of the One Piece stuff, guys. And again, I'm not trying to be mean. I have to really stress that I never want to come across as too negative, but it's just something I noticed. You guys tell me what y'all think down in the comments section below. Okay, end rant. I had to get that off my chest. Hopefully I'm not the only one who feels that way. Some people are going to be like, what? I got it all over my town. You know, I can get it anytime. And if so, that's awesome. Because these prices that we're seeing on the back screen here, guys, I will say, don't look at these times 6 packs. This is for 6 of them. Don't worry about that. But for the singles, guys, looks like around, well, probably 20 to 24 bucks is probably like going to be the average, because even though this one says $12.99, one more thing we'll talk about, guys, is some of these are for the starter deck only. So in other words, they stripped the PRB set first. So definitely look out for that, guys. Make sure when you're buying these, it's not just the starter deck. Make sure it's the actual entire thing with the PRB set in, or the PRB booster in there. I have seen that. Unless I misunderstood what I saw, I think that is possible. But either way, I clicked on this. Look, guys, $23. Even though it said like $9 or $12 when we were right here, just something to look out for. Okay, now I'm done. Now fully finished with the rant. I hope I can get this sometime soon, but I have not been able to get a single one just yet. Now we can actually get into the game. Okay, so first things, or not first things first. We already did all that, right? We already did the lab. So now we have a game. We've got 3 games lined up on the sim here of me playing Blurple Croc 7 Warlords version, okay? The volume is off, right? Yeah, the volume's off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go, guys. Let's get into this first game. We got a game against Sanji, okay? Blurple Croc versus Sanji. So the first hand was not pretty. Did you guys see that? It was just 5 events. We don't want that. We did a hard mulligan there, and we got a much better starting hand. Sengoku to do the search. Probably going to load up 5, swing in for 5, and then we're going to attack for 5 with the leader. I don't have any other play. I could have swung for 8 technically, but I'm fine with using the Sengoku. And if he wants to attack into my Sengoku, be my guest, right? Then it works as a counter. It already drew a card. It attacked and got a card from your life. Beautiful. So that card. So I do want to talk about value at some point in the near future here. Think about the value that Sengoku just did. For a total of 4 Dawn, right? Because I played it for 1, and then I attached 3 the next turn to swing for 5. For 4 Dawn altogether, and 1 card from hand, we got a card back into hand, so we got to do a top 5 search to fix our hand, and then we got to swing in for 5 and take a card from their life, and then they attacked into it, so it absorbed a hit. That is something you have to really consider, guys, like when it comes to value and using the cards you have on the field. Because once a card is on the field, it still has more potential value it can get. So really, really consider that if you're a newer player or intermediate. Okay, so they're going to swing in for 7 into 5 here. I'm going to take that one because they swung in for 5. We got out of that. They swing in for 7. We'll take that. I'm going to swing 6 into 6 here. I'm basically telling him, like, hey, I'm going to eat up your hand here as best as I can. Going to play out the Edward Weevil to draw a card. I have a lot of counter power in hand if you think about it. Well, actually, not too much. Never mind. I don't have too much counter power in hand. Okay, so right here, I think I'm going to take 1 because they're going to swing in for 8 here. Okay. We counted out of that one because they're going to swing in for 8. They swing in for 5, and I think we counted out of that one. Okay. So right here, I actually decided we're going to swing for, because we're going to Gravity Blade, excuse me. So I swung in for 5 at leader, swung in for 6 at leader, and then we Gravity Blade the cards off the board. There's the card on the screen. Very powerful. They're going to play out Wapol here, and they're going to swing in for 7, plus 2 is 9, into 4. They're going to get rid of my character. That stinks. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So right here, we're going to swing for 5, and I think we're going to gain some life here. We're going to play out the Lin. I'm going to trash one of my cards from hand. I like getting rid of the Crocodile for sure, because I have another Crocodile if I really need it, and the Boa Hancock might help me set up lethal for next turn. They play out a Zoro. They're going to give it rush with their leader. This is the new PRB01 Sanji leader, guys. It can give a character rush that costs 8 or less and does not have it on play. Oh Come My Way is what I just got from my life there. That's a very powerful card. Okay, and then we got we got a trigger from life there. Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, bottom decking the Zoro. We don't have to worry about that card anymore. We swung for 6, we swung for 9, we gain a life with Crocodile, and we're back in this game, guys. It is 2-2, and I have 2 9,000 power characters on the board. So I'm in a very good position here. They're going to swing for 5, which is really annoying because I only have a 2K and a 0 cost 3K. But hey, don't be afraid to give people your 2K counters for a 5K attack. It's still 1 card for an attack. Okay, they're going to play out the Wapols, load him up, swing for 10 into the what's her name? The Lin, and then I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to let the card go. But right here, I'm actually ready to start going for lethal. I've got 2 cards, or excuse me, I have 2 life, it's time to actually just kind of go face a little bit, right? So I'm going to set my cards here, attach a Dawn to the leader with the Boa Hancock's effect, swing 6 at face, swing 9 at face, and I believe I'm going to play out the 6-cost Boa Hancock here, and I'm locking down that Walpole. He's not swinging anymore, or at least not next turn. Okay, just waiting on my opponent. This is a very important turn. They need to counter out. The fact that they did not counter out there is actually really scary for them. And then they rad beam. They do so many counters to get out of that. Why didn't they just take that one? That seemed like a play mistake to me personally. So then we go ahead and play out the Boa. Your guy cannot attack now. I have a blocker. I have 2 life. I have 2 0-cost 3Ks in hand. A Dawn attached to my leader to draw a card when I use one. And we are in a very strong position now. They're going to swing in for 6. I think I'm just going to use a 0-cost 3K. Could be wrong. Or I might take this one. There was probably some idea to take that. I get another 0-cost 3K. That's funny. They give this card rush. Let's see where they go with it. 9 into 9. Man, that's annoying. So I used the leader's effect to go Dawn -1 to draw a card and trash a card. I get a 1K counter. We 1K counter out, and this guy's in trouble now. This guy's in oodles of trouble at this point, right? And we have an O come my way in life if we need to use that. Yeah, load it for 9 here. Let's get some cards out. Got a Gravity Blade, or a, what's called Radical Beam. Then I do leave 1 Dawn. Whoopsie, so they left a little bit early. So I was going to leave 1 Dawn active. I was going to leave 1 Dawn active. Actually, 2 Dawn active, like you saw. I was going to be 2 Dawn active because I was going to swing in for, 7 on the Boa and then the rest on the leader, but they they left a little bit early. But look what was in their hand, guys. That is a Edward Nugent. That's a Goldie Roger. For any of the newer players, that is a card coming out in OP09. It is one of the secret rares for OP09. It's a 10-cost 13,000 counter card, or 13,000 counter, guys. No, it's a 10-cost 13,000 power rush card, and it has, if you or your opponent have 0 life cards, your opponent cannot use blockers, or they lose the game. So, guys, that is just insane. However, Oh Come My Way is not a blocker. So if they had played that out, hear me out, guys. If they had swung for 5 with their leader, I could 1K counter out with the Jinbei, right? And then if they swing for 5 with their Zoro, I end up having to take that. Like, say they play out, they'd have to play out the Roger, so I couldn't use my blocker, right? So if they play out the Roger and they start attacking in, like we're saying, and they swung for 5 with leader, I have a 1K counter in hand. Then they swing 5 with the what's his name, the Zoro. I have to take that because I can't block or I automatically lose because my opponent has 0 life. Then they swing in with the Walpole for 6. I have to take that. And then when he goes to swing in for 13 with Roger and I can't block or I lose, Oh Come My Way, I would have redirected it to any of my other characters. It wouldn't have mattered at all. But that's just saying if they would have made it to that turn, they had absolutely no chance, guys, because notice they have 0. They do have a Radical Beam in their hand, but that's it. And I'm going to be swinging for 7 with Boa. That gets a Rad Beam, and then the rest on the leader. That's GG. Okay. Let's go to the next game. We got a game versus Gecko. Gecko Moria. That's right. We don't see this leader too much anymore. I think this is a pretty quick game, guys. All right, so Blurple Croc versus Gecko. And guys, it is really nice having life gain, in a deck that's basically running 7 Warlords of the Sea. Okay, this is annoying. They come in with the Perona off the bat. Oh, I remember this game. Guys, we're talking about Hand Destruction Gecko Moria here. Very annoying, but my leader does play around it kind of decently with his effect. We're going to swing in for 5. Let's see what he does. He takes it, and look what he gets. He gets a trigger. I think this is the same game. No, this was not the same game. I played against one in a game where they got a negative hollow trigger. They play out Charlotte Pudding here. That does not feel good. I have to trash a card because I have 5 or more cards in hand. They're going to swing in for 6. Playing out another Perona. I have to trash a card. You guys see where this is going. This is absolutely the most annoying thing in the world, right? We have to take, I counter out with that, or I trash my Crocodile from hand. I draw a card for the turn. They don't want to swing in with their bodies for some reason. I don't know why. I guess they knew I'd go at their board, maybe. Who knows? They did get a negative hollow from that trigger. That stinks. We have to lose a 4-cost 6K blocker. I guess we didn't have to, but I chose to. So then I play out the 6-cost 8K Boa, making it where one of the Peronas cannot attack, and bottom decking one of their 1-cost characters, the Sindri. And we're actually in pretty good position this game to win on the next turn, right? They swing in for 5. They can't attack with their Perona. And now I do have a 0-cost 3K and another 0-cost 3K in hand. Unfortunately, I did not have a Dawn attached to my leader so I could draw a card. I didn't have one attached. I just didn't have enough Dawn for the turn. They're going to Ice Age the Boa Hancock, and then they're going to play out the Absalom. I don't understand the idea there. Yeah, that they leave. That was a mistake at the end. They should have used their leader effect to do that because they could have trashed it, and they could have used their negative hollow as well if they had done things correctly, I think. Yeah, because it would have only, instead of being 4 Dawn for Absalom, it would have only been 3 Dawn, and they'd had 2 Dawn left. They could have kept wrecking cards from my hand. That felt horrible. Guys, that was a rough game. If Gecko Moria, or I should just say Thriller Bark, if Thriller Bark and Black gets any more hand destruction, guys, this could be a decent, you know, path for the deck going forward. This could be really interesting. Okay, we got one more game left, guys. We got one more game left. We got a game versus Purple Kaido. So we got Blurple Croc versus Purple Kaido. Okay. Sengoku search to start. I'm pretty sure I'm running the 4-cost Trafalgar Law. We just haven't seen it in any of these games. So I'm going to swing for 5 and then swing for 5. I really love that start, guys. It almost always gets a card from life because otherwise it's 2 cards from hand. Now they're probably going to swing into the Sengoku. Okay, so actually he just swings 6 in the face. I get a Gravity Blade. Can't use that. That's fine. And here we go. Play out the Jinbei. Do a top set, however you want to say that. Setting my top cards here. I set it like that. Attach a Dawn for free with the Bow's effect. Now I'm swinging in for 7. And your turn. You know, my opponent's turn. I've got a decent board now. I've got a blocker. I've got 3 life. I've set my top 3 cards. Now, that setting of the top 3 cards is not as relevant in this version of Blurple Croc that I'm running, but you could make it better. So they swung in for 7. I use a 0-cost 3K event, trashing the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, and I get to draw a card from that because I was at 4 or less cards in hand. Okay, so here we go. We're going to swing for 5. Going to swing for 6. Oh, man, I'm getting aggressive here, guys. Y'all see this? I'm getting really aggressive. Going to swing in for 6 more. And I think we're going to play out a tempo Boa Hancock, just locking down their attacker. Saying, hey, I'm going to dictate the speed of this game. I'm going to lock down, you know, your board a little bit, and I'm going to keep developing wide. And I've got a 0-cost 3K in hand if I need it to, you know, save stuff and draw cards. Okay, but I don't know if I necessarily need to do that right here. Let's see where they swing, though. 6 into 5. That's very annoying. I think I should 0-cost 3K out and just trash the Gravity Blade. Again, that was the same play we did last time. I get to draw a card from that, and now it's my turn. Very nice. Got an 8-cost Crocodile. That card is 7 Warlords of the Sea searchable, guys, and it is an 8-cost 9K that allows you to gain a life. Yeah, just absolutely incredible. Very, very powerful. So we're going to swing in for 5. They give me a 2K counter. Okay, remember, guys, always look for the, you know, the signals, the signs they give. So I push back a Jinbei. Okay, so real quick, let me show you guys the play that just happened there. It was nothing too special, but it was a little bit fancy. I don't want to lose any cards on my board, so I'm going to swing for 5 with the Jinbei first. Now watch what happens here. Okay, and then I'm going to play out the Law, pulling back my Jinbei, pulling back my Sengoku, because I can't bounce any of their characters anyway, playing out the Jinbei, cheating out the Boa. Okay, and now I get to attach a Dawn for free to my leader, and I can swing in for 6, and I have a 0-cost 3K in hand. So that play right there was very, very big, and I swung for 6 at the end of the turn with my Boa. I'm trying to put a little extra pressure on them. They're going to swing for 5, so it looks like they're about to play a Kaido. Almost for sure playing a Kaido here of some sort. Swinging in for 5. I really don't want to give them the Sengoku just yet, but that's okay. Okay, get a Gravity Blade to bottom deck the 5-cost Missile Sunday, and then they play a Kaido and Linlin. Okay, I was expecting 10-cost Kaido or even 9-cost Kaido. When I saw that card, I thought, okay, well, I guess we don't have a lot of options here, right? We're just going to get really aggressive really fast. Now, we'll talk about some mistakes my opponent makes in a minute here. A lot of people do not know how to play with a 10-cost Kaido Linlin, but we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so I swing 7 3 times here. Takes that, and now I think I'm going to swing for 9. Because I'm expecting to lose my whole board. So they had easily enough to get out of 10, so I'm glad I didn't swing for 10. I left 1 Dawn active, just in case, right? Just in case. So right here when they swing for 9, I'm thinking, wait, why aren't you swinging for like all your, you know, why aren't they swinging for basically 14, 24, 12, and 12? Like they should have swung for 12, 12, and then 12. That's what they should have swung for because all the Dawn's going away. Okay, so they do this. They use their effect there. let me just say this. It would not have mattered, though, if they had gone 12-12 like that, because then I would have used the O Come My Way for the second 12 and pushed it into one of my bodies and stayed at 2 life. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say there? I would use the O Come My Way on one of my bodies there if they swung for 12 with their leader and the character, and then I could have gotten out of this and survived. Okay? But the game's not over yet. The game is not over. So here we go. So I do take that, obviously. I had to take that, and then they swing for 5. We 1K counter out, and now it's our turn. Now, right here, there's a lot of different options. Some people might think, and they might not be wrong, just load up and swing 15 into the Kaido Lin. Like, there's definitely an argument for that. There is a 100% argument for doing that. But right here, so I really grappled with what to do here. I wanted to play out. They just leave. I don't know why. They just left. But hear me out. Here's what I should have done. I should have played out the the Crocodile. I should have only swung for 6. So there were 2 blunders there, 2 big blunders. I should have only swung for 6 with my leader. Maybe they give me a 2K counter. Maybe they don't. Who cares? Doesn't matter. And then I should have played out the 8-cost 9K Crocodile. And then gone for lethal on the following turn. Because they only have 1 Dawn, guys. They only have 1 Dawn. So next turn when they you know, activate their cards, or however you want to say that, they're only going to go up to 3 Dawn that they can use for the turn. So at that point, they can't use their 10-cost Kaido Linlin's effect. I would just take that hit and then and counter out, not counter out, but I would O Come My Way over to my Crocodile, the 8-cost 9K Crocodile that I was saying I should have put down. Then on that next turn that I have 2 bodies, then I would go all in on the attacks. Okay, so that was the logic there. Because remember, guys, at the beginning of this turn, they still had 1 life. Okay, so I can't just go all in yet. But what I should have done in this position, what I'm saying is, all right, number 1, I could have tried to go 15 into the Kaido Lin, but if they had 2 2K counters, I would have been in deep trouble. And afterwards, we knew they didn't, right? Because after we saw what they drew, they had 2 2K counters in their hand, right? And I think 1 they got from the top of their life, so maybe I could have gotten away with it, but I wasn't trying to risk that, right? Okay. But the other option was this. What I think I should have done with 10 Dawn, swing for 6 into their face. If they block out, I don't care. If they 2K counter out, it doesn't matter. Play out my 8-cost 9K Crocodile, go up to 2 life, and then leave 1 Dawn active. So when they go to attack in on the next turn, they're going to swing for probably, 9 or something with their leader, or 8. I think it'd be 8. They'll swing with 8 with their leader, and then I'm just going to redirect that attack with They'll Come My Way to my Crocodile, and then I can win on the next turn. Hopefully that made sense. Okay. If you guys have any questions, of course, don't be afraid to ask. All right, that's it for today, guys. Let's go ahead and check out the list I was running. This is it. So like I said, guys, this one was the, oops, there we go. This version was much more focused around the 7 Warlords of the Sea package. I tried, bless you. I tried a version, for those wanting my daughter sneezed, I had to say bless you there. Okay. I tried this version in a previous video where it's like a 7 Warlords plus Straw Hats version. Actually, this version is just Straw Hats. Hang on a second. Was it in this one? Let me see if it was this one. Okay, I don't even know, guys. I'm not even sure. But whatever the case is, in today's video, this is the list we were running. I don't think I saw a Jozu a single game. Hang on. So maybe... Oh, this is probably what I'm recommending. Hang on a second, guys. So let's go back to what we were saying. This is the list that I was running today. This is the list. But I do have some revisions that I'd like to suggest. I mean, of course, run whatever you want to, right? Play whatever cards, whatever deck you want to. But I'm going to run through the list real quick, and we're going to talk about it. So I was running 4 Edward Weevil, 4 Jinbei, 4 Sengoku, 4 Boa Hancock, 4 Trafalgar Law, 4 Buggy, 4 Boa Hancock, the blocker, 4 of the 8-cost Crocodile, 4 of the 9-cost Lin, 3 Gum Gum Rain, as well as 3 Gum Gum Jet Gatlings, the 2 0-cost 3K counters. The 6-cost Red Rock, I don't think we even saw these, but I'm running 3 of these, 3 of the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, and 2 Oh Come My Way. Okay? So again, all of these cards I really do like, and I think they're very strong, and they're very good at what they do, helping me win the game. I don't know how to say it, they're just there to help me win the game. But I did want to make some quick revisions, or I want to make some adjustments and test these in the next time that I test the deck out with Jozu. Notice the only change in this entire deck list that I can see at first glance is down 2 of the 6-cost Boas and up 2 Jozus. Jozu is actually just a very good card, guys. It is a 6-cost 7K. Boa is only, what? It's only 1,000 power more than Jozu, but it doesn't have a 1K counter. Now, Boa can stop any character from attacking other than Luffy. It can stop any character from attacking for a turn. Which, guys, if you think about that, like, maybe this actually would be better, like in the situation we just saw against Kaido Linlin. If I could have just played this down, okay, up to one of your opponent's characters other than Monkey D. Luffy cannot attack until the end of their next turn. So, and then you can bottom deck a 1-cost or less. At that point, like, I could have just locked down the Kaido Linlin. You know what I mean? And then they wouldn't have been able to attack anyway, and they would have just been in so much trouble at that point. So this card is probably still a little bit better, and it is searchable by Sengoku. Where's Sengoku at? Here he is. This can search up any 7 Warlords card, and Jozu's not 7 Warlords. So this card is still really strong. It's kind of like I think I explained it as like the big brother version of Trafalgar Law in any kind of 7 Warlords or Dofi deck. Because this is a 4-cost that bounces a 4 or less by returning a card to your hand. This is a 6-cost that bounces a 6 or less by returning a card to your hand. So it is kind of like right in line with what it's doing. It's just this one's not 7 Warlords. But anyway, that's really the only suggestion I would make. That's the only difference I'd really consider making, I think. Having this as your late game, Charlotte Linlin and Crocodile, they just keep you in the game. They just keep you in the game, guys. I don't really know how else to explain that. I do think there might be some argument to run the 9-cost Mihawk. Like, let me just hit 9 real quick and bring up the blue cards. I mean, I guess there's even an argument for this, because we are setting our top cards. There's definitely, like, an argument for running something like a Sanji, or even potentially a Mihawk, which is 7 Warlords searchable and a very big body. But, again, this deck still needs a lot of testing. I have not put tons of time and effort into this. It just... Now that this whole package is here, guys, the Sengoku, Jinbei, Edward Weevil, Boa, Buggy, Trafalgar Law package, like, that's the main package. Everything else is just extra. Now that any blue deck has access to that, except for this. Hang on. Boa and Trafalgar Law can only do their effect with a 7 Warlords leader or 7 Warlords character or something like that. Like, see, this one, your leader has to be 7 Warlords of the Sea, and with Boa, you can only attach to a 7 Warlords character or leader. Other than those 2 cards, like, the rest of this engine is just strong. You know, like the Edward Weevils, the Jinbeis, the Sengokus, the Boas, and even just the 2K counter Buggy now, right? It's just so good. And you can always run Perona. That's always an option. But long story short, here's all I'm trying to say. I think that the 7 Warlords package is so strong right now that it can make almost any leader work. Even Crocodile. You know, I'm just kidding. I know there's some diehard Blurple Croc fans out there. Shout out to Small Hat Chris. I know. I think this is like his main leader, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken, someone correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. And yeah, this is the only way that I can play him. This is the only way that I can play Crocodile on the sim is going 7 Warlords. But you know, rough times. I know it happens, but we'll see. Maybe he'll get more support in the future. Who knows? All right, I'm done, guys. I'm done yapping. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And guys, if you are supporting me in any way, shape, and form, guys, if you're liking my videos, subscribing to the channel, sharing my stuff, commenting, viewing it, anything, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Hope y'all are enjoying it. And hey, if you bought a playmat, thank you guys so much. I still have about 20 left of those. I still have about 20 playmats left. I'm trying to get rid of those soon. If you need to know anything more about that, either message me in the down in the comment section or hit me up on the on Discord. So I've still got 20 of those left, and I'm still selling those for what they've been selling for. But in fact, I'll link the video. You know, the price is in the top right corner, but I'll link the video on that for anyone who is interested in that down in the comment section below. Then last but not least, guys, and by the way, for everyone who's already bought one, again, thank you so much, guys. Hope y'all are enjoying the play mats. And then last but not least, there we go. Had to minimize my head there. Big shout out to the VV Pirates patron page here. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel in the ways y'all do. You guys are awesome. Really, I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, do not hesitate to say something in the comment section below. Guys, I still try to answer all of my messages. the channel's been doing really well lately. It's been hard for me to keep up with all of the messages, but I still try to do it as best as I can. So if you have any message or questions down there, or if you have any questions, please put them down there and I'll try to get to it as soon as I can, or hop on the Discord. The Discord is the absolute best way to get in touch with me. It's, I'm not saying DM me. Please don't DM me. I'm just saying that's like the best way to get a hold of me if you really need me, if you need to ask something. All right, I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace.